This exploit is insane for leveling Order of Souls in Season 11, at least until it's patched. It can also be used to make you a ton of gold and even gets you some reputation for other trading companies along your way. Before I get started, I'm trying to make 2,000 subscribers, and if you could help me out, that would mean a lot. I also want to thank this subscriber for commenting, as they led me to look more into this exploit and in the right direction for it. The first thing you have to do to start this exploit is vote for a sunken shrine for Order of Souls and dive to it, and stay with me, because I know that these do not have the greatest reputation for loot. Once there, complete the puzzle. Now these are going to be different depending on which one you pop up at, so you could probably find a video about that for your specific shrine, but just complete it as you normally should. And collect the Order of Souls treasures that come with it. Once it's done, put them into the Siren statue and go back up to your ship, but do not collect them yet. Once you're back at your ship, you should be able to swim back down and go back into the shrine. The puzzle should still be solved, but the loot in the loot rooms should respawn. Now, it's not the order specific loot, but it's the regular loot that you would get, but this can consist of a lot of skulls and gems, so it's still great. No matter how many times you swim down to this shrine, the puzzle will stay solved, and the loot will respawn every time, assuming that you've interacted with it. Now, you don't have to interact with every single piece, but every single piece that you interact with will stay, and the rest of it will respawn. Each time you go down, just make a little pile of loot next to one of the statues or get it out of the way, but you don't really want to put it in yet, and I will show you why you don't want to put it in yet later. You can do this for as long as you feel safe and as long as you would like. Keep having the loot respawn and rinse and repeat. Now I will say you do have to dive to do this. You can't do this just going to whichever one you want, so you're kind of at the mercy of whichever one it puts you at. And like I said, as long as you feel safe, keep doing it, and then head to sell once you're done. This is just the basic exploit though, and you do not want to miss the extra tips that can make this more efficient and what to watch out for. I will also be showcasing how much you can make off this method exactly and how much we exactly made at the end. First, the shrine you come up at will determine which puzzle you have to solve, how long it takes, and if you really like those loot spawns or not. If you don't, go ahead and wait and redive to a different one, as you're going to want to be comfortable. If you're going to be here for a while, you're going to want to be comfortable with the one that you're doing. My personal favorite shrine is the Shrine of Ancient Tears in the bottom of the map. This one has 3 loot areas and 3 puzzles. All 3 are close to mermaid statues and easy to complete. Having loot areas close to mermaid statues just speeds up the process, especially if you are solo. Now you need to be careful while doing this though, because you are going to be completely underwater away from your ship, and you will have emissary up, leaving you extremely vulnerable to other ships, especially grade 5 reapers. So you may also want to look at being at a shrine towards the edge of the map. And I know the one in the middle of the map is actually pretty good for this exploit, but I aim for one on the outside edge. Like I said, the Shrine of the Ancient Tears at the bottom of the map, that's my personal favorite. This is why I said you do not want to put any loot into the statue. If someone pulls up on you and they don't know what you're doing, they are probably going to sink you. But they are probably also going to leave without ever checking the shrine, especially if they don't see a mermaid waiting on the surface. They probably assume that you aren't getting much loot down there, and they also won't wait for you to come back to claim it. They'll just sink you, take whatever's on your ship, and leave. You also may have noticed at this point that you could technically use this for whatever trading company you want, but I chose to do this for Order because that's what people are in need of most right now, and I made probably better exploits for Gold and Merchant earlier this week. If you haven't seen those, go check them out. To optimize this for reputation specifically, you can just pick up the stuff for the trading company you are doing. For me, that's Order, and then only worry about that stuff, and as well as the gems. Just put that stuff in the pile, leave the rest of the stuff, don't even interact with it. You can get more of that later. Now, if you want more gold, then obviously grab everything. This method will also get you to grade 5 very quickly, so that's something to keep in mind. Do not underestimate the time it takes to load this stuff, especially if you are solo. My first solo run at this, I spent an hour getting the loot and an hour and 15 minutes loading the loot because that just took that long. If you are not solo, you have at least 2 people, have one person load the stuff into the statues, and once it gets to 20 or full, have another person claim on the surface and harpoon it onto your boat. Trust me, this is so much faster than doing it solo. If you can find a friend for this, because it's definitely worth it. It speeds it up so much. Remember to also use the treasure chest to speed up your loading process, because you can fit 20 of those that have 3 items each in a statue, so you could fit 60 items in a statue, and it just helps you make your loading process even better. The other thing you want to watch is to not miss any loot areas, as most of the shrines have multiple loot areas, and some of them also just scatter loot randomly around it, so just make sure to look around and make sure you're getting everything before you just head out. This is a short demo of me and my friend doing this exploit, so you can see how it works in real time, and then I will showcase how much we made. First, we voted for the Order of Souls Emissary. Obviously, that's what we're doing this for. We then voted to dive for an Order of Souls shrine, and luckily, we got my personal favorite. This shrine, like I said, has 3 puzzles and 3 loot rooms. One of the puzzles is actually really not necessary, though, but not to get too specific. After we finished all 3 puzzles, we loaded up our Order of Souls loot, and we headed to the surface. We did a ship check, made sure our ship was good, and made sure no ships were incoming. We did have a Reaper's 4, but they actually ended up getting off shortly after we saw them. We then dove back down below the surface, and upon arriving, the loot had respawned. I stacked 2 smaller, closer together loot rooms, while Nathan did the large one, and we continued this for 45 minutes, and we literally stacked hundreds of items. After we were satisfied, we spent about 15 minutes loading the loot, which if you were solo, this would have probably taken you about another 45 minutes. We then sailed to an outpost where I spent another 15 minutes just setting up a screenshot and seeing how much loot we had. And the fact that this right here is only an hour of loot is, oh, it's fucking insane. It's crazy. Just keep in mind that all these treasure chests that are in these were also full of trinkets and skulls. It's just insane, such an insane amount of coral loot. And as we sold, you could not believe the amount of commendations flooding in from all the random stuff we were selling. In total, we spent about an hour. We're gonna say it was an hour, not including my stupid screenshot, because we spent way too long doing that. Nathan was ready to get off, and I made him wait like 15 minutes. In total, we spent about an hour. That's not including my screenshot time, because you obviously don't have to do that. This was our first run at it, and obviously I want you guys to keep in mind that this can be made way more efficient with better crews, more people, and like I said, more practice. Our first run, we made 511,720 gold. Between me and Nathan, we had an average of 12 levels. Nathan got 15 and I got 9. So obviously it just depends on your level. He's a little bit lower level than me. So yeah, gold per hour for, like I said, for our first try, 511,720. That's gold per hour on our first try as a duo. Reputation per hour is 12 levels. Now, this potential for this, as I said, is amazing. With a good crew, you could definitely make around 750k an hour, and with Gold Rush and all that sorts of stuff and community weekend coming up this weekend, you could make like over $1 million an hour. And also you could definitely make, with a good crew and getting used to this, you could definitely make 20 levels an hour, which is by far the fastest way I have ever seen to level Order of Souls, especially for season 11. So yeah, I don't know if there's better ways. If there are, I guess let me know, but this is the best way that I have found personally to level Order of Souls. Bonus, we also got 5 levels for Gold Hoarders and Merchant, and all that extra loot. And if you really wanted to, you could sell those gems you got to Hunter's Call to get that over with. So pretty amazing stuff. Like I said, didn't know about this. Thank you so much to this guy that commented. Really appreciate it. I had actually seen this a day before, but I thought nothing of it. I dove to a shrine, and when I went back down to get my stuff, I had noticed the loot respawn, but I didn't think anything of it. So I'm really happy that he commented this. If you guys have any tips that would make this video more helpful, please let me know in the comments below, as I have a plan for those, and I would just like them. I'm sure other people will find them helpful, so just leave them. If you got them, if you got the tips, just leave them for us. Also, like I said at the beginning of the video, I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean a lot to me if you could help me out and to pass it into future goals. So just, if you guys could do that, be awesome. Like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.